Embrace inner transformation through divine vision. This call is not to change what is seen, but to change the way we see. Often in life, our struggles do not lie in the events that happen to us, but in the perception we carry. When we begin to understand the nature of true vision, the vision that comes from the Spirit, not from the flesh, we begin to see the same world in a completely different way. The book of Revelation does not start with chaos. It starts with clarity. A vision, a glimpse of the one who stands among the lampstands, one like the Son of Man. This is not an image built by imagination, but a divine unveiling, shown to awaken something dormant within us. When we receive divine vision, we begin a process not of outward correction, but inward alignment. It becomes less about fixing life and more about refining self. To embrace transformation is to accept that who you are today is not your final form. It is to surrender the comfort of what you have known and step into the discomfort of who you are meant to become. This process is spiritual, emotional, and mental. The vision John saw on Patmos was not a hallucination. It was a calling, and the same applies to each of us. When life opens a spiritual window and we catch a glimpse of something beyond our comprehension, that glimpse is not given for fascination. It is given for transformation. Divine vision always leads to change. It compels you to rise above your fear, your anger, your ego. It forces you to let go of illusions. It invites you to face truth, not just about the world, but about yourself. Transformation does not happen in noise, but in stillness. It does not happen in haste, but in discipline. When you truly embrace transformation, you realize it is not something you do once. It is a daily act of surrender. A consistent act of courage. You must die to what is no longer aligned with your destiny and resurrect into a version of yourself that is more faithful to the image you have seen. When John fell at the feet of the one like the Son of Man, he fell as though dead. Because divine vision exposes our humanity, it confronts our weakness, but it does not leave us there. The hand of divine presence reaches down and says, "Do not be afraid." Transformation begins with this moment, the touch of divine reassurance after the exposure of truth. We are not left broken, we are lifted to stand. This inner transformation is not for glory or recognition. It is for clarity and purpose. You begin to see that your life is not random, your suffering is not meaningless, and your silence is not empty. You understand that everything has been building toward a greater revelation. That revelation is not about what happens at the end of time. It is about what happens when eternity enters your now. Divine vision does that. It brings the eternal into the present. It brings heaven into the heart. It brings fire into the bones. Many people seek outward change without understanding the root of their stagnation. They want better outcomes, but they are unwilling to surrender outdated perceptions. Vision is not just about foresight, it is about insight. Can you see what is already within you? Can you recognize the spark of the divine inside your own spirit? Because until you see that, every change you make will be surface level. But when you embrace divine vision, you go deeper. You see your anger not just as a flaw, but as a wound seeking healing. You see your fear not as weakness, but as a signal pointing to something sacred you have yet to claim. You see others not as enemies, but as mirrors, showing you the parts of yourself still waiting for compassion. Embracing transformation means being willing to lose what you were, so you can find who you are. It means trusting that the fire will not destroy you but refine you. The book of Revelation speaks in symbols and fire and lightning and trumpets, but its deepest message is not destruction, it's unveiling. That unveiling must first happen in you. What is hidden in you must come to light. The pain, the power, the purpose. When you embrace that process, your entire reality begins to shift. You walk differently because you see differently. You speak with more weight because your words come from a deeper place. You stop chasing approval because you realize you were already chosen. Divine vision gives you the eyes to see through storms, through fear, through shadows. It gives you a strength that is not loud but unshakable. You begin to understand that real power is not domination but alignment, not noise but presence, not appearance but essence. Each moment becomes sacred. Each decision becomes intentional. You are no longer moved by pressure but by purpose. You begin to walk not in reaction but in revelation. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" And you start asking, "What is this awakening in me?" That shift changes everything. Because now you are not a victim of life, you are a vessel of light. The same light that shone through the one like the Son of Man, that light is not distant, it is within. So to embrace inner transformation through divine vision is to answer the quiet call that has always been echoing in your spirit, the call to rise, the call to remember, the call to become. You are not who you were, and you are not yet who you will be, but you are seen, and if you are seen, then you are called, and if you are called, then you must walk, step by step, through fire, through silence, through revelation, until the vision is no longer something you saw, it is something you have become. Walk with discipline to reflect the light within. Discipline is the bridge between vision and embodiment. Without discipline, even the most powerful revelations remain as distant echoes, never taking root in our daily lives. Discipline is not restriction, it is alignment. It is the process of bringing every thought, every word, and every action into harmony with the deeper truths that we carry. In the journey of transformation, once you have received a glimpse of the divine, the next step is to live in a way that honors what you have seen. The one like the Son of Man stands in radiance, and that radiance is not for admiration alone. It is for imitation. To reflect that light, you must become that light in motion, and this happens through disciplined living. Discipline is not about harshness or punishment. It is a sacred rhythm, a way of structuring life around values, not moods, around conviction, not convenience. When you walk with discipline, you understand that every day is a choice. Every moment is an opportunity to say yes to the light or to fall back into the shadows. The light within you is already present, but it must be cultivated. It must be guarded. It must be honored. That is where discipline enters. Without it, your potential remains dormant. With it, your essence begins to shine. Walking with discipline is choosing the higher path, even when the lower one is easier. It is waking up early, not because you have to, but because you are committed to growing. It is saying no to distraction because you value your inner clarity. It is practicing silence when the world wants noise. It is choosing integrity when compromise would be more convenient. These small acts may seem insignificant, but they are the bricks that build the temple of your inner self. You cannot reflect divine light by accident. You reflect it through intention, through repetition, through mastery of self. The book of Revelation does not describe a God of chaos, but of order. Everything has timing, everything has structure, seals are opened in sequence. Trumpets are sounded with purpose, there is discipline in the divine, and so there must be discipline in us. If you wish to reflect the character of the one like the Son of Man, then you must carry his spirit not just in belief, but in action. That means embodying grace, embodying patience, embodying power that is not violent but restrained. This level of embodiment cannot be faked. It is the fruit of discipline, discipline in thought, in heart, in habits. There are moments when the fire inside you will feel dim, when doubt, fear, exhaustion cloud your clarity. In those moments, emotion will not carry you forward. Discipline will. Discipline is the lighthouse that still shines when the waves of chaos rise. It is what allows you to keep walking when your motivation fades. It is what keeps you anchored to truth when lies surround you. Without discipline, we are at the mercy of circumstance. With discipline, we become masters of response. Not reactive, but responsive, not chaotic, but grounded. The reflection of light is not only about shining in public, it is also about what you do in private, the small decisions no one sees, the unseen acts of kindness, the inner conversations you have with yourself, the way you speak when no one is listening, the way you resist darkness even when it's convenient. Discipline ensures that your light is not just a performance, but your identity. It becomes who you are even when no one applauds, especially when no one applauds. There is power in choosing the difficult path for the sake of integrity. There is strength in sacrifice. There is beauty in consistency. The world celebrates flashes of brilliance, but transformation is not made in moments of glory. It is made in the hidden hours of practice, prayer, perseverance. Discipline is the soil where the seeds of revelation grow roots. Without it, the seed withers. With it, the seed becomes a tree that bears fruit for generations. To walk with discipline also means to walk with humility, to understand that discipline is not about proving your strength to others, but about honoring the sacredness within yourself. You are a vessel of something divine, and your actions must protect that. Every time you choose discipline, you polish the mirror of your soul. You clear away the fog that hides the light. You make your spirit a clearer reflection of what you were shown in vision. The fire in the eyes of the one like the Son of Man must become the fire in your own gaze, not a fire of destruction, but of purpose, of clarity, of love refined through discipline, even when trials come, and they will. Discipline keeps you stable. When everything shakes, your foundation remains firm, because it is built not on fleeting emotion, but on deep-rooted principle, and this stability becomes a testimony. People will see your life and feel the weight of your presence. Not because you speak loudly, but because you live truthfully. That is the power of walking with discipline. You become a living message, a walking revelation. Every breath becomes a prayer. Every step becomes sacred. Every decision becomes a declaration of who you are becoming. You do not need to chase validation. You do not need to impress. You simply reflect. And what you reflect speaks louder than any words ever could. That light, the light within, is not yours to create, it is yours to release. Discipline is how you release it, how you protect it, how you multiply it. So walk with discipline. Let your life be shaped not by impulse, but by intention. Let your words be few but full. Let your presence carry peace, not pressure. Let your actions speak of the one you reflect, and in doing so you will not only transform yourself, you will light the path for others. The same path you were shown in your vision, the path of fire, of glory, of discipline, the path that leads not away from your humanity, but deeper into your purpose, deeper into your calling, deeper into your truth. Face the fire of truth without fear. This is not a poetic phrase, it is a spiritual directive. The fire of truth is not gentle. It does not caress, it consumes. It strips away what is false, what is weak, what is hidden behind layers of illusion. And yet it does not destroy what is essential. What survives the fire is what is real. What remains after the flame is what was always meant to endure. To face the fire is to stand before truth, not your version of truth, not the world's definition of truth, but the eternal, unchanging, piercing clarity that flows from the divine. And this truth is not only around you, it is within you. The fire calls you to see yourself clearly, without distortion, without justification, without defense. The reason most people fear this fire is because they are afraid of what they will lose, the identities they have built, the masks they have worn, the narratives they have clung to. But the fire is not your enemy, the fire is your freedom. When you stand in it and allow it to burn away the unnecessary, you are not left with emptiness, you are left with essence. This is the essence that reflects the one like the Son of Man, the essence that carries the voice like rushing waters, the eyes like flames, the presence that causes even the strongest to fall as though dead. That power is not external. That power is awakened in you when you stop running from the truth and start surrendering to it. The fire of truth does not flatter, it exposes, and this exposure is mercy, not cruelty. Because until something is revealed, it cannot be healed. Until something is seen, it cannot be sanctified. When you face the fire, you allow light to reach the places that have been dark for too long. The bitterness you hide, the anger you suppress, the shame you bury, truth brings them to the surface, not to shame you, but to liberate you. You cannot walk in power while hiding from truth. You cannot carry light while clinging to lies. So the fire becomes a sacred test, not a test to punish, but a test to purify. Every transformation begins with truth, but truth alone is not enough. It must be faced. You must look it in the eyes and say, "Yes, I see you, and I will not run." That is when growth begins. That is when chains break. That is when false strength gives way to authentic power. In the book of Revelation, the symbols are filled with fire, candlesticks, burning lamps, a sea of glass mingled with fire, and judgments that fall like flame. But all of it points to one ultimate reality. Nothing impure can stand in the presence of divine truth. So why should we fear the fire if our desire is to walk with God? Why resist what we were made to withstand? When you face the fire, you realize that fear was never the real enemy. Avoidance was. What you fear is often a shadow. What you avoid grows stronger in the dark. But when you turn toward it and step through it, you see it for what it is, a teacher. The fire is a teacher. It teaches clarity. It teaches humility. It teaches strength that doesn't need to shout. It teaches surrender that leads to true power. You stop trying to control everything. You stop needing to be seen a certain way. You let go of the ego that wants to be admired and embrace the soul that was made to be refined. There will be pain, there will be discomfort, but there will also be light, there will be peace, there will be clarity. Because on the other side of fire is freedom, on the other side of truth is transformation, and the only way to reach it is to pass through, not around, not over, but through. You begin to welcome truth even when it hurts. You begin to invite correction because you know it sharpens you. You begin to desire what is difficult because you know it deepens you. Your relationship with struggle changes. It no longer feels like punishment. It feels like preparation. This preparation is necessary. If you are to carry the weight of divine purpose, you must be refined by divine fire. If you are to stand in the midst of darkness and still radiate light, you must first be cleansed of every impurity that dims your flame. The fire does this not in one moment, but in many. Again and again you return to the fire, not because you enjoy the heat, but because you love the truth it reveals. And every time you return, something false is burned away. And every time something false is burned away, something real is born in its place. You do not become smaller by facing truth. You become clearer. You do not become weaker by walking through fire. You become unshakable. The fire teaches you that what is real in you cannot be destroyed. It teaches you that light does not ask for permission to shine. It teaches you that truth is not negotiable. It is eternal, and the more you align with it, the more your life becomes a mirror of the divine. Do not fear the fire. Do not fear what it will reveal. Do not fear what it will cost you. Fear only what happens if you refuse to face it. Fear the loss of becoming who you were created to be. Fear the emptiness of a life lived in avoidance. Fear the silence of a spirit that knows it was meant for more but settled for less. And let that fear move you not into retreat, but into resolve. A resolve to stand still and face whatever comes. A resolve to welcome whatever the fire must remove. A resolve to trust that what remains will be more true, more whole, more free than anything you were before. In the end, the fire is love. Not the soft love that comforts without correction, but the fierce love that refuses to let you stay in darkness. The holy love that burns away everything that separates you from your true self, your true calling, your true connection with the divine. The fire is not your enemy. It is the answer to your deepest prayer, to be real, to be free, to be transformed. So step in, let it burn, let it reveal, let it refine, and rise on the other side, not smaller, not broken, but whole, burned, yes, but brighter, because you faced the fire of truth without fear. Become the revelation you seek to understand. There is a moment in every seeker's life when the distance between themselves and the divine vision must collapse. This is the moment when revelation moves from concept to embodiment. It is one thing to admire the glory shown in sacred texts, to be in awe of the mysteries spoken through symbols, angels, and voices from the throne. But it is another thing entirely to allow those revelations to take root within and become your way of being. The book of Revelation is not simply a message about the end times. It is a blueprint for transformation. It reveals what is, what was, and what is to come. But more than anything, it reveals who you are invited to become. You cannot understand Revelation by intellect alone. It is not a puzzle to be solved, but a mirror to be entered. And when you step into it, it begins to speak not just about the world, but about your soul. It shows you what must fall and what must rise. It shows you what is holy and what is false. The 7 churches, the lampstands, the scrolls, the seals, they all reflect inner realities. You are not outside this vision. You are in the center of it, and to truly understand it, you must be willing to become it, to live it, to let it breathe through your actions, your voice, your choices, your silence. Becoming the revelation means no longer separating yourself from the truth you admire. It means no longer waiting for someone else to be the voice, the light, the transformation. You become the lampstand, you become the trumpet, you become the open scroll. You stop pointing to prophecy as if it were external and start realizing that it is already alive within you, waiting to be activated through obedience, discipline, love, and fire. Revelation shows a new heaven and a new earth, but that newness must begin within. You cannot expect the world to transform while your own heart remains unchanged. This path of becoming is not easy. It demands everything false in you to fall away. It demands you release the need to be seen a certain way. It demands that you surrender your attachment to certainty, comfort, and reputation, because the version of you that understands divine mysteries is not the same version that clings to old wounds and shallow identities. You must shed those layers. You must be willing to walk through the wilderness of unknowing, trusting that something deeper is forming beneath the surface. And when it does, you will not just know the revelation, you will be it. When the voice says, "Come up here, and I will show you," it is not only an invitation to John, it is an invitation to you. Come up, rise above distraction, rise above fear, rise above ego. Let the heavens open within you. Let the thunder and lightning be your awakening. Let the scroll of your life be unsealed, page by page, word by word. Every trial you face is a line in that scroll. Every victory is a new chapter. Every moment of silence, every whispered prayer, every act of forgiveness adds weight to your testimony, and eventually your life becomes a prophecy fulfilled. You become living proof of transformation, living proof of divine order, living proof of light overcoming darkness. To become the revelation is to walk in authority, not arrogance. It is to know who you are in the Spirit without needing to prove it to others. It is to live with clarity, with vision, with a sense of sacred responsibility. You realize that your words carry weight, so you speak with intention. You realize your presence shifts rooms, so you carry yourself with humility. You realize your pain was not wasted, so you offer it as wisdom. This is not about becoming perfect. It is about becoming whole, fully surrendered, fully alive, fully rooted in truth. The world is filled with noise, with imitation, with people quoting truth but not living it. Becoming the revelation breaks that pattern. You don't need to argue doctrine when your life becomes the evidence. You don't need to shout when your presence speaks louder than your words. When you carry peace in chaos, joy in trial, love in hatred, people notice. And whether they understand it or not, something in them is stirred, because revelation is not just information, it is impartation. It moves, it breathes, and when you carry it, it awakens others. This requires daily surrender, daily discipline, daily alignment. Becoming is not a moment, it is a rhythm, a sacred pattern of rising, falling, repenting, rising again. And each time you rise stronger, more refined, more grounded, more aware of your calling. You no longer ask, "When will the revelation come?" Instead, you ask, "How can I become the vessel through which it flows?" You stop waiting. You start embodying. You walk as if every step matters. You speak as if every word matters. You live as if heaven is watching, because it is. And when people see you, they may not know the theology, but they will feel the transformation. They will sense the weight of something sacred in your eyes, in your stillness, in your fire. That is what it means to become the revelation. Not to impress, but to illuminate. Not to dominate, but to serve. Not to boast, but to bless. You no longer carry the burden of needing to be someone. You carry the blessing of having become someone who reflects truth in motion. The scrolls, the seals, the lampstands, the throne, the Lamb, they are not distant realities. They are pictures of transformation planted in the soul of every person who dares to answer the call. You are not called to be a spectator of these things. You are called to participate, to become a temple, to become a witness, to become a flame that cannot be hidden. And when that happens, you will no longer just read Revelation, you will live it. The one like the Son of Man is not only to be admired, but to be followed. He walks among the lampstands, he holds the keys, his voice is like many waters, and he is calling you not to explain him, but to embody him, to walk with fire in your spirit, to stand with grace in your heart, to rise with purpose in your step. You are not small, you are not forgotten. You are chosen to be the revelation this world needs to see, so become it. Let the words become flesh in you. Let the light that shines in heaven shine through your humanity. Let the glory that fills the temple fill your mind, your body, your breath, and as you do, you will understand revelation not as something written, but as something lived, something real, something radiant. And the world will see, through you, that the kingdom is not only coming, it is here.